So I'm out and about on my Royal Enfield 350 Meteor, and I thought I want to do something different today. So I'm off to prison. The thing I like about Scotland, apart from the magnificent scenery and awesome roads, is there's a whole plethora of wild and wacky things to do. Hopefully today will be one of them days. So I'm heading up to Inveraray. Inveraray. Such a cool name. So Scottish. The only thing I really know about Inveraray is they've got like a magnificent castle, which I think I'll be passing in a minute. And also episodes of, what's it called on Netflix? Downton Abbey. I think that was filmed up here, or some parts of it were anyway. I think Inveraray Castle is just coming up on my right here, and it truly is magnificent. I'm not really normally into castles and that sort of thing, but this one is a little bit special. Well worth a visit is all I'm saying. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm quite looking forward to see this jail or prison, whatever it is, but it was just an excuse to get out on the bike again and do more miles. The more I use the Meteor, the more I like it. It's just the perfect bike for me. You know, it's comfortable, it's light, it's manoeuvrable. You take it anywhere bike. It's funny how things work out, really. I only really bought it because it was really cheap, and it's probably turned into one of my favourite bikes ever. I think years gone by, Inveraray used to be a fishing town, but it's changed considerably since its heyday. It's more for tourists now, I think. But it's a really pretty little place. I mean, there's a big collection of like pubs and restaurants and little shops, so yeah, it's nice. And this is the jail just on my left here. It's only about £15 to get in, so if it's totally crap, then I haven't wasted a fortune. I'm not quite sure if this is a man or a woman. I best not ask what he or she identifies as. There's some dodgy looking character at the top of the stairs here. A judge, I guess. And these are real cases back in the day, and I think this poor individual was hung for stealing a horse. Bit harsh. And this one stole a pair of shoes apparently, so they stuck a red hot poker in his face. This one had a bit of a criminal record, several thefts, off to the gallows he went. I'm not quite sure what this young lady did, but they hung her, not before cutting her hand off. And this is the actual courtroom where they put people on trial, and they run like recordings from transcripts. He's a bit dodgy, and I think the guy in the dock got some insane sentence for the heinous crime of stealing a turnip. I can imagine this place was proper mental in its day. Just walking down these corridors, it just fascinates me to think of all the wild and wacky characters that descended this staircase back in the day. And these are the exercise pens, where apparently if the prisoners were well behaved, they were allowed 1 whole hour per day to exercise. Whoopee! I bet they weren't given umbrellas when it rained, that's for sure. I'm just going into one of the many cells here, where prisoners would spend most of the day. God, I would go stir crazy stuck in here. Can you imagine? And here's some poor sod doing his business. I guess privacy and dignity weren't top of the list back then. Apparently they used to keep children as young as 7 here too. The good old days, eh? Apparently anybody deemed insane was locked away in here. It's quite disturbing, actually. I suspect there was no hot running water or little yellow rubber duckies to play with in this bath. And this is where the misbehaving prisoners were punished. Whipped with the birch. Nice. And if that isn't bad enough, then they were put in straitjackets, so they couldn't move a limb. Chained up. I know a lot of people think that current prisons are too soft, but this place takes it to a different extreme, to be honest. This is one of the first black Mariahs where they used to transport the prisoners. Apparently Mariah was a real person. She ran a kind of a guest house or a lodgings house in Massachusetts in America. And any of her guests she thought might be a bit dodgy, she'd call the police and they'd come and cart them away. And this was the head poncho, the governor, in his little office overseeing everything. So that was Inveraray jail. Had a nice couple of hours in there, really interesting, but glad to get out in the fresh air. God knows what the poor sods that ended up there were like. Years and years in that building. I would have went totally stir crazy. Nice little view over the loch. It is truly beautiful up here. Really is. Anyway, I hope this video has been of some interest to somebody out there. A fitting way to end it, a couple of beautiful Royal Enfields.